Testing, testing.
1, 2, 3.
All right, let's give it 2 seconds.
Can you hear me? All right. Checking 1, 2.
All right. We got it. How exciting. All right.
Exciting. We are live. Paste. Customize sticker.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Episode 37 of Two Asians, One Board. Welcome. All right. This is also our first live cast.
It is. No mistakes can be made.
Yeah, so
Oh my goodness.
already I stopped the stream by accident by pressing the wrong button. And then this new integration with Streamlabs and YouTube, where I'm like signed into YouTube in Streamlabs. So when I press go live, I have to enter details, but I already set up an upcoming stream on YouTube. So it's like really super confusing. Like, which one is it? Which one takes priority? It's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
In the old days, when I did Warhammer streaming, there wasn't that integration. You just press go live and it would be on YouTube, and what you put on YouTube was what would appear. But
Yeah.
now it's a little bit more confusing. So I have to figure that out.
The simpler days, the easier
Yeah.
days are in the past now. But yeah, also I just arrived at Darren's place like 3 minutes ago, and then we just
Yeah.
jumped in here to start this episode.
So Rio was literally just getting thrown around on the judo mat.
Yeah.
And
Fresh out of my judo clothes. And here we are.
so if you're joining us on audio podcast, then welcome as usual. And if you're joining us live or watching this later on YouTube, then thank you for watching and joining. Subscribe and follow, and we will be hopefully doing more live streaming as time goes on. But there was a gap between we did a Eternal Decks live. And that went really well. And then my computer totally exploded, like literally a few days later. And then it took me like 3 weeks to get a new computer.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But our stream is actually better than ever. The next time when you see a game, it will be better than ever. We got our special mat now. I have a 4K pan tilt zoom camera now. And everything is going to be much higher quality. So it's going to be 4K stream games.
It's going to be fantastic. We'll have so much fun.
Yeah, but this looks pretty good. We got our Ian O'Toole art in the background there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so now if you see us looking over here, that's because that's where the computer is, the stream computer. And so when I do stuff, I'm going to have to look over here. But don't worry, the actual camera's over here. It's kind of weird, actually.
I think one of the tricks that a YouTuber does is wear sunglasses. And that way you can't actually tell that the eyes are moving. And that way it feels as if you're always speaking to the camera directly.
Well, there is this camera here used to live on top of a monitor. So when I streamed Warhammer, I would be looking into that camera while looking at the monitor. Mm-hmm. But because there's two of us here, it's easier to put it here on the table.
Yeah.
So
it's harder. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, let's carry on. Tonight's podcast is episode 37. We're going to be talking about expansions tonight in the second part, but we're going to do all our usual first parts. First of all, before we start, I need to give a big shout out to my friend Jerry. Jerry is a newfound listener of our channel, and actually he doesn't play board games at all. He just listens to us as he commutes on his bike back and forth from work. Has something to listen to. So thanks for listening, Jerry. I told him I'd shout him out on the podcast.
That's awesome. Time to get a board game in.
Yeah. So breaking news. Let me see if I can pull this up here.
Do you have one of those buttons that just
I do. I have the Stream Deck here, but I haven't
configured
configured all those things yet. But okay, so
the clapping.
I don't have sound effects. I don't have sound effects for such, so we'll just have to do actual sound effects. So big news is the reveal from Vital, Ian O'Toole, and Eagle Griffin Games. I mean, it's big news for us
Yeah.
as Luthier fans.
Yeah.
The resort. This is the box art for the resort, and it's very beautiful.
It's pretty. Yeah. No, it's it reminds me of this Japanese anime called Porco Rosso, which is all about like planes and like being on the beach.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so beautiful. Were you part of the playtesting? Or no, you great.
I'd like to play to test the resort. I didn't. It just never aligned.
Yeah.
But I'm very much looking forward to it. And this cover, so I've been to French Polynesia, to Bora Bora, and this cover just takes me straight back there. It's so colorful. It captures the water color beautifully, the seaplane. It's the writing, the kind of resorty like font. It's beautiful. It's beautiful work, and I can't wait to see what the game looks like and how it plays. But that box art is amazing. Yeah, I think it might be
one of the best. Every single time, I feel like anytime he comes out with anything, we're like, that might be the greatest artwork ever.
So if you're listening on the podcast, you can't see that we have three kind of prints of Ian's box arts behind us on the camera. Weather Machine cover, the On Mars cover, which until this point was my favorite Ian O'Toole art, and Pampero. And so we might have to make space for more frames.
Just stagger them.
Or just put them on a line or something. Yeah. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about, and this is old news now, this was back in May, is the Golden Geek Awards. So these are awards that Board Game Geek gives out every year. I believe it is like Board Game Geek people nominated and voted on by the community. And so, I mean, take that with a grain of salt. But here are some of the games that won. We won't go through all of them because we haven't played all of them. I saw this game, Toy Battle, at the Imaginaire, and it just looks like a kid's game. It was super popular. It won a whole bunch of awards. But I couldn't tempt myself to buy it. It just looks like I'm buying like a toy. I guess it's called Toy Battle, but I don't know. So wasn't too interested in that even when I saw it. The artwork and presentation award was, of course, won by Old King's Crown, which is pretty deserved. That game is a beautiful game. Here, I've got this other special trick here. Rio, watch this. Oh,
sharing of screens.
Look at this.
Oh,
although it's covering your face, but you know.
Yeah, I can
get the
shift a little.
Sacrifice. So,
ooh, that one, yeah.
The Old King's Crown is a beautiful game. That didn't work. Okay. Anyway, it's a beautiful game that has amazing artwork. There's a whole stack of like cards which all have individual artwork. The cards that you play with are like tarot sized, so really nice feeling chunky cards, and they're all amazing artwork. The whole game looks amazing. Jury's still out as to how good the game actually is to play. It was quite good at 2-player, but I've heard that at higher player counts, it just becomes a little bit too chaotic. Like you might as well just randomly put your cards down. Whereas at 2-player head-to-head, it's very much a strategic game. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll play that next time we play. We'll play Old King's Crown.
Okay.
But it is a beautiful game, so deserve it of that award.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay. Best expansion, and we're going to talk about expansions tonight. The SETI expansion won, Space Agencies.
Yeah.
Which we already talked about on previous episodes.
Yeah.
Didn't quite do what we had hoped in terms of fixing the main issue of the game and game length. But it definitely was good in terms of adding asymmetry and all those kinds of things. Innovative game was Vantage.
Okay.
I mean, it's always hard to define innovative. Like, what would you consider innovative about it?
Well, it did take, 7-10 years of development? from what Jamie had published. Is that
Yeah.
right? I think, and like it is. So my wife and I have played Vantage like a handful of times, and
Yeah.
we're a big fan of it. And we every single time we play it, we learn a new thing about that expansive world.
Yeah.
And like it's like you can either go very long and like very deep in the game, or kind of keep it short. There are things in place that will keep the game like relatively short, and also different every single time you play it.
Yeah.
So I do think there, like, honestly, I can't like quite find another game that does like all those elements so well. Like it's kind of campaigny, yet also you can do it one off very easily.
Yeah.
I don't think that there are like it's oftentimes it's either or, whereas this one you can do both.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It is a game like no other.
Yeah.
And in that way, it's innovative. I mean, so is Eternal Decks,
Yeah.
which was in this nomination category. I just think some people just don't like Stonemaier games for whatever reason, and
Yeah.
so they have a beef about it. But okay, so heavy game of the year was won by Galactic Cruise. Of course, Speakeasy was in this category along with the other heavy games.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
I understand. Between Galactic Cruise and Speakeasy, I think Galactic Cruise was probably fresher of a game. Speakeasy was like Vital doing another Vital Lacerda game, which has been fantastic, and like every Vital Lacerda game is like just like I don't think he has really like missed majorly ever yet. But Galactic Cruise, like being the first game they have ever developed as a developer, like I think as a first game out of the like in the market, like it's honestly very well done. And also like I think it's a more approachable heavy game.
Yeah.
For like folks that haven't necessarily done many heavy games. Like it's very, very intuitive, very forgiving, very easy to understand the step-by-step process.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I can see how that would kind of attract more new heavy game board game players into that category, I guess.
It's definitely one of my favorite games of last year, and I still have it, which is it was an indication if you are competing in the heavy game big box category. If I still have it,
takes a lot of space.
Yeah, that's right. It means it hasn't been booted out in favor of a Lacerda. And it does have some cool things about it. I wish it just looked a little bit cooler. Like the board is like here's a company. Like, but it is a good game. And I introduced it to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on to back, bought, and sold.
Bought and sold.
Nothing much to back right now.
I mean, yeah, eh? Ever since Brass. My wife was talking about this Harry Potter card deck building game that was designed apparently by some of the folks that were involved in the game, like the movie designs.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of the game, nor do I know anything. Like I know very little about it, other than the fact that the design looked pretty cool. That's the only thing that I was told, but we were not necessarily keen on backing it. We're also in the middle of moving, and then there was also flooding that happened. All that kind of makes our board gaming budget a little bit more limiting at the moment. So yeah, the last game I backed is still Brass Pittsburgh.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually looking at this game, which got sent to me on Facebook, which is called Politic. And it's by Black Yeti Games. It's on GameFound right now. Politic with a K. It looks kind of cool. It's like a dystopian. It kind of reminds me of World Order, which I've yet to play. Yes. But it's like kind of dystopian, like the world rising from the ashes, and you have to pilot a number of different factions to, economic and military victory. And the art style is kind of like cool dystopian. And so it really tweaked my interest, and I'm looking at this campaign with an itchy finger, but it and it's not apparently the price went down from 140 to 115, which I'm not sure why they would do that because they met their goals.
Hmm.
I think the goal was 100,000 and they're at 174. So yeah, so you know, I'll watch it for a bit longer. I think the campaign only just started, so yeah, there's still time. But it's an interesting kind of looking game. I might watch one of the like instructional videos and see how it actually plays. So that's the campaign I've been watching, but I haven't backed anything either. Yeah. Okay, I have bought or received some things. So I mean, I received Old King's Crown, and I received my copy of World Order. Um, and I was in Calgary, so shout out to my colleague and friend Justin out in Calgary. I went out to Calgary for our annual meeting, and of course, he told me I had to go to the biggest game store I've possibly ever been in, which is the Sentry Box in Calgary. I walked like 4 kilometers to get there. And this place is ridiculous. So it's like in a warehouse. I guess that's how you could describe it. And it has 2 floors. The at the bottom, it's like 2.5 floors. It's like the bottom is the board game area, which is huge already. Like if you imagine both floors of Imagineer put together.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole separate section for wargaming, Warhammer, those kinds of things. Then there's a whole RPG section. And then you go up half the flight of stairs and there's like a balcony area, which is very large, where there's tables and gaming area.
Yeah.
Then you go up another, and then that's where there's the historical games section. And then there's a whole separate area for like running tabletop tournaments. And then this building, which is already huge, is separate from a second building to own just down the street, which is a massive card tournament area for Magic and other cards. So they don't even need that in the same building.
That's amazing.
It's a separate building. So this place is huge.
Yeah.
And so I had to buy a game, and I had limited luggage space, so I bought a copy of Flip Toons there.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're in Calgary or you end up in Calgary, go to the Sentry Box. It's just a
that's crazy.
Crazy big store.
Oh,
yeah.
Gosh. Yeah. They're bigger than 401 then, like much bigger. Or
so they are, if you take total floor space, bigger than 401 in Vaughan. Yeah. Because you got to remember the actual retail space of 401 is maybe only half.
That's true.
Because the rest of it is their like packing and distributing operation.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. Bought, sold, or
anything? Have I bought or backed or sold anything? Not really. No, nothing. No movement in the. I still have 2 seasons left on the pandemic season 1.
Oh yeah.
2 months. Like we're in November right now.
Wow.
So
okay.
We still need November, December, and we're just like we just have not had the chance to play board games.
Well, I mean, you guys closed on a house, you started renovations.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's stuff going on.
Exactly. Yeah. Life has.
But you're almost done.
We're almost done, kind of. Yeah. We'll make the move sooner than later, hopefully. But and then we'll be only like a couple of blocks away from each other, so that will hopefully change this whole slump of a board gaming situation that my wife and I or my family has been.
Yeah, because so Camilla and Rio live currently like across town.
Yeah, about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes.
When they move, they're going to be like, I could walk there in like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Ride there in like 2 minutes, drive there in about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah.
It'll be fun.
So let me ask you, now that you are, like 4/5 of the way through your first Legacy game.
Yeah.
Do you want to finish it because it's fun and exciting, or do you want to finish it because you feel like you should finish it now?
It's a little bit of both at this point. I think at this point we know the end. I think Legacy games, to some extent, once you get to a certain point, it has revealed enough that you're like, this is how it will end.
Which season are you playing?
1.
Season 1?
Yeah. No, you don't think so?
No spoilers.
Oh,
No
not
spoilers.
spoilers. Okay.
But that might not be a good assumption. We'll see.
Okay. Well, we'll see. But at the same time, I think I'm kind of eager to finish it so that we can move on to other games.
Yeah.
And I think my wife is as well. But at the same time, we just simply have not had the time to play much, buy much, or do much when it comes to board games. And also, we were gifted a number of games like a month or two ago. We're still like hoping to play through those that were gifted to us. So that's another thing that is kind of haunting me behind my head to be like, okay, I need to make some time to learn some new games and like try to get those on the table.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to games played. So let's talk about the first game which we played together. It was a while ago now, but and that is Nippon Zaibatsu, which of course was a campaign from a while ago which fulfilled earlier this year, and now already they had the campaign for the expansion, which I didn't back. So Nippon Zaibatsu is a redo of an older game, like a reskin with some, I believe, some slight mechanical changes, and it's a Euro game through and through. And it's basically a typical game where you're gonna do actions and generate various types of resources, which include money and various kind of manufacturing resources to manufacture goods. And in this game, there's various types of goods, and then you can use those goods to do various things. And one of the things you want to do with the goods that seemingly seems to be the best way to win is to kind of ship them to these 4 sectors of the Japanese islands. So there's the board is basically a map of Japan, and then you're just trying to control each of the 4 sections, area control basically.
And there are trains. There are also like some ships. Like there are ways of kind of doing foreign trade, but also kind of boosting your influence and presence in the different areas.
So it's kind of thematic because like you're trying to retake influence over the island from foreigners, and so you could do that by rebuilding trade networks, shipping things internationally, and then producing your own goods.
It's very historically accurate as well. This is like the Mitsubishis, there are a couple of Zaibatsus in Japan that kind of monopolizes basically they got into historically like each of those companies ended up Mitsubishi, something else, Toyota, not Toyota.
Panasonic?
No. I should know this. Anyhow,
come on,
a handful of companies, like it's like an oligopoly where like each of those ginormous companies like took over the banks, took over like cars, like retail, as well as like just all the industry they can think of. They just took it over,
producing all sorts of things
under the same brand.
That's kind of what the word Zaibatsu means. And so that's basically this, like you're like a company and you produce everything from like light bulbs to to
magnification glasses.
You're trading in silk and money, and so it's really interesting. So I thought the game was okay. It kind of runs a little bit long, I felt, by the kind of, you reach a point where the round marker moves, and then you're like, you have 3 more turns. And so it seems like it goes on kind of forever. Initially, it doesn't seem like when you first start, because your turns are fast, like it's going to last that long. Then the middle of the game balloons because you can do a lot of stuff. And then the end of the game, you're just like, oh, last 3 turns. You're like, what the?
You got to make the most out of the very few turns left.
So the tempo of the game is really like varied in that way. And I'm not sure if I like that, but if you know it's coming, then I guess you can prepare for it better. The scoring is definitely heavily focused on the area control, which is scored like twice in the game, I believe. One kind of like halfway through, and then once at the end. And that is also the area where there's a little bit of negative player interaction, because you can take somebody else's spot. And then so that's like a double hit, because you gain influence and they lose influence.
Yeah.
And so that can feel a little bit bad, but that is clearly part of the game.
Yeah.
And but that area, those area controls score like the heavy majority of your
Yeah.
points. There's actually not a lot of points available in other places.
And also like the influence tokens, you have limited number of them as well. So it's kind of sometimes it is hard to get them out because you don't always have the particular number available to be able to put out.
So there's this kind of little tricksy table which adds to this complexity is in order to put an influence token on the map, you have to trade in a certain number of a certain type of good. And it's quite exact. You can't get an influence token of a lesser one by trading in more of one. You know what I mean? Like it has to be X amount of this for this token. And so you can get stuck because you're like one short or one too many, or like it can be a bit frustrating actually.
Yeah.
And then so that's kind of like a frustrating part of this whole influence, area control thing in the game. So the one interesting part is, so when you choose your action, there's above each column of actions, there are multicolored, different colored workers. And so when you take an action, you don't actually use a worker to take the action. You just choose to do the action, but then you have to take one of those workers and put it on this kind of stack
ladder almost.
Yeah, and the colors that you take don't influence your action at all. But at the end of the round, when you have to kind of like do a reset turn, the color of the first one and the last one give you bonuses.
Yeah.
None of the ones in between matter. And then if they are different, you get another bonus.
Yeah.
And then the order that these kind of workers get populated onto the board for you to take is completely random.
Yeah.
And kind of can really mess you up.
You are incentivized also to keep the workers as like consistent in color as possible.
Yeah.
Because the more variety of colors you have, the higher the cost of the work. Like basically you would need to pay the worker's salary. Yeah. And then basically the more like if it's only like one or two colors, then you only pay like one or two like of them. It's paid by the color variation. So like the more colors you have, the higher the cost ends up being. And then it's kind of interesting whenever you do that reset round, like reset turn, like you feel like you make a bunch of money and then you kind of lose half or if not sometimes more of it, and you're like left with very little.
So you have to push yourself up this income track in order to give yourself more money during the reset turn. So it's the kind of game where you spam all of everything you have, and then you get money again at the reset. But then the more different color workers you have, you're basically paying a large majority of that back. And so you might end up with only like $1 or $2 to play the whole next round, which can be quite frustrating just because somebody took the worker or the right colors didn't come out, or because it's just random from a bag. So that is a little bit frustrating with the worker, although I like the innovation of this kind of worker color thing, although it's a little bit mechanical. It doesn't really have a thematic basis. I can see like, so with only two players, I can see it hard to really make a lot of headway into the area control, because the board starts covered in these foreign companies and they have influence. You have to cover them up, and in order to cover them up, the more players there are, the easier it is to cover them up. So with two players, that might be difficult.
But with three, we played with three, and it was
okay.
I think things covered.
I don't think we lost any points to the third party to the game.
For sure.
So overall, did you like it?
I think I liked it, but also it didn't necessarily, like, because it is, I think partially it's because it's an older game that kind of has like it's a very typical area control Euro-y game. I think I'm not like, the theme is interesting, but then at the same, like, everything felt a little like the as you said, like the length felt a little bit on the, like, it I feel like it could have ended sooner. And also like the there's no real like change in what happens per se, like
Yeah.
from the start of the game to like mid to the later game. Like you do have a little more resources and you have some more choices, but like otherwise there isn't really like innovation or change that happens throughout the game. So that's something I found to be
Yeah.
missing a little. But as a Japanese person, I think well, I did end up winning, obviously,
Well, you had a
to
natural
prove a
advantage.
point. But yeah, like I think it's not necessarily. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I like it. I don't mind it. I don't think I am gonna be eager to buy a copy for myself or anything like that.
Yeah, well, I might give you my copy because I was thinking of selling it. I like the theme of it, but it's not overly thematic. In
Yeah.
fact, the game is kind of dry.
Mhm.
It's just kind of picking workers, put them on the thing, moving up these tracks, and then like this area control, which can really does feel bad if somebody knocks you out of it, like
Yeah.
because you lose a lot of points.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't really do anything about it necessarily. So it's so funny in this Euro where you're just doing your own thing. There's this one area where you can have this clear negative interaction, and that's worth the most points.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird how that happens. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna play it maybe one or two more times, and then decide what to do with it. It's also a Lacerda-sized box.
Oh,
Um,
sorry, I knocked the mic.
yeah, so the Lacerda-sized box is a premium storage space. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a big box.
Okay, the other game that I played was Orloj. Orloj is a Euro game about the Prague, astronomical clock in the Czech Republic, and we played this just me and my daughter, a two-player. I tell you, this game doesn't really. So what you have to do is the most interesting part about the game is the clock mechanism, which is like Zolkin. So it's like a time-based thing. So this clock actually has like 3 moving layers, and then you must move one layer like a clock, but you can spend resources to move it more times, and then you can also spend resources to move the second layer the other way, so that and then how you line up the sectors basically is the actions you can do. And so that is obviously the crux of the game, being able to manipulate these 2 wheels in such a way that you can do what you want when you want it. So that's fine. The ability to the game ends. The third part of the clock that is unfinished. So the point of the game is to finish the astrology part of the clock with the kind of astrological symbols to build those dial pieces. And so in a 2-player game, you only need to build 5 of them to end the game because 7 are pre-built. And so that actually ends really quickly. We hardly could get anything going. Like a Euro game always starts off tight, and then you start to do more and more stuff. In this game, by the time we started to even slightly feel like we could do more, like it was over. So I don't know if it was really supposed to be played a 2-player, and I've yet to play it at 3 or 4-player to see if because at the higher player counts, you're going to have to build more dials. Resources seemed really easy to get, and everything was super interchangeable with gold and money. So it seemed like it wasn't really very tight at all. And then the placement of the main actions that you want to do are at kind of like the cardinals of the clock face. And then 2-player, where you might just be moving one clock spot every turn, it was like really hard to move from one side of the dial to the other. And then it would be another long time to get back to that again. And so you could easily hate turn the clock dial so that the other person would never be able to do that action in that way. There is other ways to do the actions that are much more involved. But just to do the basic main action, you could be hate turned, hate progress. Like time could be pushed, the clock could be pushed in such a way that you would not be able to do that action. And so actually my daughter did that to me.
Oh no. Classic.
She's a gamer. She figured out that if she pushed the clock a certain way, I can't do the action that I want to do, which is super annoying. And, I would call it actually a flaw.
Yeah.
And so, and then that sets your whole tempo off because you're planning to do this thing, you're building resources for it, and then somebody hate turns it, and now you have to wait all the way, and then you might not get it there either. Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
It's a beautiful game, though.
It is beautiful. The board is very beautiful, if maybe not slightly overwhelming at first. You put it out and it's like, wow, it's like so much stuff, right?
And there's like 3D-ness to it as well, right? Like it's like the turn, like
so the clock face turn is like cardboard size 3D, so it's not too 3D. It's not. It doesn't even have like the sun like in the SETI board in the middle. But it is nice. So it is a nice game. I just think we have to play it at more players to see if these two main problems are 2 players. So if it ends abruptly and then the hate turning. But you could see that also happening in multiple players where it just goes around too much and becomes too erratic.
Right. Yeah.
But I guess we'll see.
Yeah. That sounds like a fun game.
All right. We won't talk too much about Eternal Decks. We did play it live on the stream. What did you think of that game?
Eternal
Decks.
Oh,
the card game.
Yeah. I think we both Camilla and I had a really great time. Like that was a fun game. I think we, especially with the base one, it was quite easy. Honestly.
Yeah.
I'm sure once we add the difficulty, I think it could be more fun.
So me and my brother, when they came over last week, we played the kind of standard level, which is like the level 2. We played beginner on stream.
Yeah.
Standard of the stage A, the first kind of scenario, and I played it with my family, and we lost to it twice.
Oh.
Maybe it's because we don't work well together. We generally don't like cooperative games. And then my brother came over last week and we beat it pretty easily. And we went on to stage B and beat that at standard.
Yeah.
Not easily, but not with too much difficulty.
Yeah.
The game just continues even in the next 2 scenarios. It's just the game is different and it's. Still need to keep exploring that game because it's really good.
I find it to be a really fun game. Although it's hard to make that kind of make that type of mechanic feel fresh, and I feel like they do it really well. Yeah.
So when I was in Calgary, I did go to my friend Justin's house and play some games with his family. We actually, one of his friends and him and I played. I taught them Luthier because he had a copy of Luthier. So 3-player. We only got through half of it, it was maybe they found it quite complicated. And the thing, actually, this game convinced me to put Luthier probably on my cull list.
Really?
Because this game really emphasized how the randomness of the cards can really sink you. Because Justin's friend got sunk by the randomness, couldn't get an instrument card that he needed. And being able to dig through the deck, that option to dig through the deck is way too expensive.
Yeah.
And then it was just sunk, and it literally just couldn't do anything.
That's a sucky feeling.
So we also played Skulking with his whole extended family, which was really cool. They really enjoyed it. Shout out to Justin for welcoming into his home and doing some gaming. Okay. We played a whole bunch of Mahjong in the last month. I don't want to talk about it. I don't actually really like Mahjong too much. And when you put my parents involved in it, man, they're like Mahjong sharks.
Somehow you did not bet money on it. That surprises me for Asian parents to not want to involve monetary.
So we're playing Mahjong. We must have spent the whole weekend almost 16 hours of Mahjong. And they didn't even want to put chips, not just money, but just using chips. Because then there's no accountability for anything.
Who's winning, who's losing?
Who cares, right? So, okay, Old King's Crown.
Old King's Crown, 2 players.
So Old King's Crown is like super hype, right? It was like many people's game of the year.
Yeah.
What's this? What's that channel? Not Shut Up and Sit Down. No Puns Included.
Yeah.
They do these like super in-depth reviews and stuff, and it was like their whatever game of the year or one of the games of the year. And I think that has yet to be seen for me at 3 or 4 player because I haven't done it. I played it, we learned it, and we played a 2 player, me and my daughter, and it was quite good. There is a learning curve, and as I tried to teach my brother and his girlfriend and my niece last week, it bounced off them. They just didn't want to play it. After the first year, they didn't want to continue because they didn't really know what was going on. And it really struck me that it is a difficult game conceptually to get your head around. It's not difficult. It's not like a heavy game, but like the card play and all the little ins and outs of the abilities and how they interact and how the rest of the year, spring, fall, and winter, really you're just trying to do the clash. It wasn't clear, and I probably didn't teach it very well because I wasn't sure the best way to teach it. I think I've developed a better way of teaching it now. But so it's interesting. Now, in Old King's Crown, what you're trying to do basically is win these 3 battles in the middle of the board. And these battles is basically like war, card game war. You're just putting cards down, and whoever has the highest number wins. That's at the most basic level, but it's face down. And then there's lots of other mechanics in the game that can alter what cards you've played or let you add cards or kill other people's cards or move the cards around. So actually, it can be quite tactical to win each of the 3 battles. And the more battles you win, the more influence you're going to get. You're probably going to win. So it's pretty straightforward. But that card play is quite tactical when it's just me against you because I know what cards you have, you know what cards I have, but you have some tricks up your sleeve. But I think once you throw 3 or 4 players in, it's just going to be chaotic, right? It's almost random. Just play random card, whoever has the highest number. So we'll see. Also, each faction and its 4 asymmetric factions have these 4 tactics, which seem quite powerful in a way that it can, like, you could set up this whole kind of complicated strategy to win a clash, and the tactic could go off and it would completely screw you over. And so if you don't know what everybody can do at the table, you cannot plan for it and you could just get screwed over. And that's also part of the learning curve. Is like you have to look, you have to read a lot of stuff. The text is very small. Actually, it's really hard to read the cards on the board. And you have to read it all and like remember, I need to use that then, and I need to use that. So it's actually, and then so there's no way you can know what everyone else is doing in your first game, or maybe even your second or third game. And so there's a lot of stuff to take on board, although the game itself mechanically is not that complicated. So we'll play it. We'll play it.
I'll read on it first. I'll do my reading, pre-game reading.
Okay, one more game I want to talk about quickly is Flip Toons. So Flip Toons has a lot of hype too. A lot of people's easy, light card game. So basically, this is a game and it's themed around cartoon characters that you're trying to put into a cartoon. But what it is basically a 6-card tableau build, not even a tableau builder. It's about deck building. But what you're doing is just flipping 6 or more cards from your deck every round. And then the better the cards are that you flip over, the more fame you get, and then the more better cards you can buy. And then the cards come with various combos that you can stack them up so you can put more cards in your 6 slots. You can move them out of the way, or they flip them over, all sorts of like interesting little interactions. But at the end of the day, you want to build a tight deck so that at the end of the game, you have to randomly flip 6 cards from your deck. Not necessarily the good one that you just bought. It might not show up at the bottom of your deck. You shuffle and you flip 6 cards, and whoever has the most fame at the end of that flip wins. So you have to keep your deck as tight as possible, like ideally like 6 cards. So it's interesting that way. It doesn't take very long. It's easy to play. Just there's not a lot of card variety.
Mhm.
There is an expansion for it already, so I can see that after you've played it 2, 3, 4 times, the combos are the same basically. Now,
Yeah.
whether you can flip them in the right order for the combo to go off is the crux of the matter, really.
Mhm.
Because even if you only have 6 cards and they all combo together, if they need a specific order to come out and you don't flip them in that order, then your combo doesn't work.
Yeah.
Which is super frustrating.
Mm.
But yeah, interesting game and very portable too.
Yeah.
We might take it to Europe with us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a lot of fun. Like it's, I feel like small games can be fun. I mean, yeah, like once you figure it out, I think some of those games you have, there's not much more to it other than just continuing to see who is the luckiest.
Yeah. So when my brother comes over, we usually crack open at least 1 or 2 heavy games, but we didn't manage to do that this time because we played Mahjong for days on end, and we just played a whole bunch of small games. We played cats knocking things off ledges, Excalibur, Nana. So yeah, we played a bunch of small games instead this time.
Nice.
Yeah, which is weird because we had access to all of my games, but didn't play any of them. Whereas,
exactly. Like a terrible dollar amount. I feel like sometimes if you think about like the heavy games from like how much it costs, like technically speaking, in order to make the most out of them, you should be playing them frequently. But it's so true that like the more expensive the game, the less play they actually get, and sometimes the $15-$20 games gets the most. I think Skulking right now, your Skulking is basically falling apart.
So I've kindly requested from the good folks at Grandpa Beck's Games if they could find me a Portuguese version of Skulking to replace my Skulking copy, which the cards don't work anymore.
Yeah, only 1 year in, right? 1 year.
Yeah, we bought it in Portugal last year. So
a year
it's
of
had
like
so much play.
Yeah,
the cards literally they're impossible to deal.
Yeah,
but
that's when you know you got a good game and you got really the squeezed every value, every bit out of it.
And I do want the Portuguese version because the pirate names have grown on us so much. The Portuguese pirate names. Yeah.
Awesome. So I played only a few games over the past few weeks. One is Dominion with one of the expansions that I think is like the Fortune or something along that line at a friend's place. It like Dominion, as everyone knows, is the classic deck building game, and there are gazillions of expansions for it.
Have you opened them all yet?
I have yet to. I have opened about half of them. I've played about like 3 of the expansions so far, and I still have like 4 to go. And every single expansion has like a different theme and different mechanics to it, which really makes the game quite fun actually to and very, very repeatable and play. One of the things that we I did with every game has to some extent like a winning method or winning I guess deck that you can build through the selection of different cards, and I ended up securing my win for this one through a crow and a fool's gold of sorts. So basically a crow would allow me to take more cards and also multiply the crows. So I would get a bunch of crows in the deck, but then that would allow me to kind of go through the deck multiple times very easily. And then the fool's gold was essentially worked really well with the crow to basically pick up money, but then that money would multiply, and a fool's gold would be essentially the first gold would be not first fool's gold would not be worth anything, but then the second one would be worth quite a bit, and then the more money you have, the more you can buy. Dominion is always such a fun game to play. I think it's one of those games that I want to play more. And the expansions, which was generously gifted to us, I would be doing it a dishonor by not opening and playing every single one.
I mean,
so I will. I will. Yeah. Another game that I played quite a few times is the 3D version of Catan. Settlers of Catan.
Because you got that years ago.
4 years ago.
Was that from Costco?
It was from Costco. It was like one of those sales that were happening at Costco. Like it was like $100 off compared to the retail value. And it had never been played because it's minimum 3 players, and my wife and I just never, or I think, yeah, we don't have many. We were never necessarily into. We started getting into heavier games too quickly. But
I think I've only ever played Catan one time.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, well, it's kind of better games to play.
So the story behind why I played it like 3-4 times over the past weekend was because I was at a bachelor's party with a couple of buddies of mine, and I brought, obviously I was the board game person, so I brought like White Castle, I brought Mind Management, I brought like Pandemic, Iberia, and like a couple of small games, and then I brought this like 3D Catan game. We as like 3 folks, we throughout COVID we would play Catan like all the time.
Yeah.
So whenever I was like about to teach White Castle or about to teach like Sea Salt and Paper, they were like, but we can just play Catan. So yeah, we played Catan, like the 3D version of it, like at least 3 times. And the miniatures, the mountains, honestly, it confuses the game a little. It's like because it is so like so intense, it does make it actually harder to see and harder to navigate everything.
I think this is what's going to happen with the 3D Arc Nova.
Yeah.
Right? Once you put all this stuff on your board, you're not going to be able to know what's what.
Yeah. It honestly, like we were all like the first game we played, I think we played one a little too late. It was like 11:30 p.m. and we were like, let's play Catan. And we were just all so out of it, and yet just rolling a die, and it was like the longest Catan game ever. It took like an hour and a half to finish, which usually, it shouldn't take that long, but the board was set up in a funky manner, and like everything just kept on dragging along. But the second and third game was a little quicker and was a little better. But I mean, the production value is amazing. It's like it's very cool, but like gameplay wise, I think like just getting the basic game probably will do it more justice and keep it
or
simple.
You could deluxify it without necessarily making it 3-dimensional.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably a reason why board games aren't 3-dimensional. They're not war games, and they're not miniature games.
Conceptually, very cool.
Yeah.
Practically, not as
like if
not
you
as cool.
Okay, so take Speakeasy for example.
Yeah.
Okay, that board already gets pretty busy, right?
Yeah.
With the background art, all the cops and all the buildings, and then the trucks and the little bottles, barrels which you lose. And imagine that was 3D.
Oh my gosh,
it would be very difficult to play.
It would be so difficult to play.
Yeah.
It would be quite a mess. But those were the games that I played.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, since we're live, we're going to go straight on to part 2. Normally, we would take a little break on the podcast, but we'll go straight on to part 2. And tonight, we're going to talk about expansions.
Mm-hmm.
So, first question for you, Rio. Do you know how many expansions do you have? And what proportion of your total game collection is expansions?
Not too many. I've got like...
Do you count all the Dominion expansions separately or as one expansion?
Dominion, I don't... Yeah, right, if you count Dominion, then I have a lot. But like, I think we tend to stick... Like, we tend to only get expansions for the games that we like really like the base game of, and we feel it's like we've exhausted the base game enough that we feel the need to get an expansion to get more out of that game.
So what do you have? Do you have Spirit Island expansions?
We have a couple, like 2 Spirit Island expansions. We have the White Castle, like Matcha expansion.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We have...
I need to try that, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think you need to, honestly.
No, okay.
What else do we have?
The Dominion ones, obviously.
Yeah, Dominion ones, obviously. There is. Well, I mean, would you count? No. Wingspan. We have a couple of expansions.
Yeah, Wingspan
we
has
have like
a number of
Asia. We
expansions.
have. I mean, mainly Asia, and then like we have Wingspan and Wormspan. Although Wormspan is not an expansion, it's a different game, but it's like kind of in the same realm of games. It feels like.
Yep.
What else? But a number of them. What about you?
So not that many, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm the same as you, and we're going to talk about this in a minute. Why would you get expansions, or why would you not get expansions? But I own 72 games, and 8 of them are expansions.
Out of 72?
Yeah. So what percent is that? That's 1/9?
Like, a little less than 10%.
I know we're an Asian podcast. I'm not that good at that.
8%?
I don't know percent, but it's like 8 times 9, right?
Yeah.
And they are the Arcs, Leaders, and Lore expansion, which is basically, I feel like, kind of mandatory. The Marine Worlds Arc Nova, which actually I feel is mostly take it or leave it, but the asymmetric ability cards are very good and definitely very highly suggested. I have the expansion, the Crisis and Control expansion for Hegemony, because that comes with the more complicated bots that you can use to play less than 4-player. Which I think is useful if you mostly play a 2-player. If you don't, then I don't think you need it. It comes with other sets of cards, which are, take it or leave it, because the base game is so good. I have the Pirates expansion to Ostia, which is still new in shrink wrap, because I just haven't opened it. I don't even know if Ostia needs it, to be honest, but those pirate ship meeples are pretty cool, so I'm probably going to open it at some point.
I technically have Sweetlands expansion. I have never played Sweetlands. But it came with the expansion, so I have that. But that, like, again, it came with it. I didn't necessarily get it. Yeah.
I have Skull King expansion, of course. It was sent to me for free, and it does add more chaos to an already chaotic game, so it's fine. The Viticulture Bordeaux is kind of like an expansion, like half expansion, half newish game. And that was sent to us, of course, by Stonemeyer, so I have that. I no longer have any Wingspan expansions. I got rid of all of them.
You had the box. You had the Bird Nest.
The big stupid box.
Yeah.
I only have the base game. Yeah.
You went from Bird Nest to only the base game. That's amazing. Yeah.
I felt like Europe added something decent to the game, and all the ones just added more birds and a bit of bloat. So
I liked Asia as a 2-player game.
Yeah, I never tried that one. I like the 2-player mode.
Yeah, 2-player mode / like you can actually just buy Wingspan Asia and just be good
without buying the base game.
You don't need the base game to actually play Wingspan. If you get the Asia version, you can just play that and only know that as Wingspan.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So why would somebody think about buying an expansion? So we already mentioned a couple of things, like just more stuff. So in some games, it just gives you more content, but doesn't change the way the game plays. So like, or maybe just adds one new mechanic or a couple of different mechanics. For example, a lot of card games like Skull King, for example, the new cards don't really change the game. They're just different cards. Or change the scoring or, things like that.
I think similarly to all the Dominion expansions, like it doesn't, like the game itself is the same, with some like additional like methods of scoring different points or like doing different things, but like the game in its core stays the same.
Some expansions change the length of a game because it adds rounds. So Matcha is a good example.
Is a great example.
Adds more rounds, adds another another quarter to the game, basically. And so does that. Obviously, some expansions add asymmetry to a game that is fairly symmetric. So in a lot of Euro games, everybody starts off the same. And so sometimes the expansion will add asymmetric powers. So the SETI expansion, Space Agency, is a perfect example. Normally everybody starts exactly the same, but Space Agency, now you're a specific like corporation and you get different starting resources and different special ability than the other players. Arc Nova expansion added the different ability cards that have slightly different abilities. So lots of expansions add asymmetry to the game. The Arcs expansion, Leaders and Lore, does that too. And so that can often make a game more interesting with more replayability, especially if there's different asymmetries that you can mix and match.
Yeah, I think I found, for my wife and I, Spirit Island was like the only game we played for quite some time. As those early listeners would know, I would, every single time we would be on the podcast, I would talk about Spirit Island again, and I got to experience this new spirit, and like, once the base game comes with like about, I think, 8 spirits or something like that, and then like the expansions add another 4, add another 8, add another like. Just add a variety of scenarios as well for the cooperative game to kind of beat a different faction, different country, different scenarios that make it slightly harder in different manners. So that, like, honestly, I find that to be quite worthwhile when you are very fond of a particular game and you know that you would like it, even like you would replay a certain game over and over again because it is something that you are comfortable with getting back to. And,
especially if the expansion is, like we said, not one that really changes the game, but just adds different factions or different monsters or where sometimes if you're changing the game, sometimes that then makes the game not as good, or too long, or too complicated. One mechanic too many. And so that's kind of, you have to always look when you're looking at an expansion, what is it that the expansion is adding? It's always adding something. Some, I guess, campaign games and stuff like that, the expansions might add more story.
Earthborn Rangers. There is an expansion there that I really wanted to buy, but got vetoed by the wife. Once it's on sale, I will try again. But I find some like those story building like campaign games where it's all about the story, like it is, like it's sometimes like the expansions just allow for you to explore that world more and further.
Okay, so why? Oh, so the one other thing that the expansions sometimes have to do, unfortunately, is fix a game. And so, and there's probably lots of examples of this, and I don't know them all off the top of my head. But the one that most quickly comes to my mind is the SETI expansion, Space Agencies, and the way it tried to fix the length problem of the game was by accelerating you through the first round. They got rid of the first round. It says start at round 2. Here's a bunch of stuff to simulate what you would have gotten in the first round. Right. And then here's your asymmetric corporation, which also gives you a bunch of stuff. So you got a ton of stuff instead of playing a, quite frankly, boring first round. And so it totally fixed the no first round thing, but it didn't fix the length of the game, because now you have way too much stuff, and the second, third, and fourth rounds were too long. But sometimes an expansion is to kind of fix a game. And I can't really think of more examples that I have played where the expansion was to try and fix the game. Now, some people argue Marine Worlds was to fix some parts of Arc Nova by one of the mechanics in the Marine World expansion is this wave symbol, which means when you reveal a card that has a wave symbol on it, it pushes everything else one along, and then you add more cards. So in that way, you get through the deck more, because one of the problems in Arc Nova is if you never get the cards that you need, then you're just kind of stuck. So that was kind of like a little mini fix. But yeah, I can't think of any other examples of games that I've played where the expansions decidedly to fix the game.
Some people, I have never played it, but in Darwin's Journey, there is a fire expansion of sorts that some folks claim fixes the base Darwin's Journey game. Yeah, I don't recall exactly what it was that was broken about Darwin's Journey. I think there were some, like there was a very obvious way of winning the game, whereas like by adding the expansion, like you have a couple, like I think when there's a very obvious solution to a game, that basically in itself is a bit of a flaw to a game. Whereas like if you have a couple avenues that you can explore to like take victory of the game, then that like is a more like balanced game. And I think that was something for that game in particular. But yeah, no, it's true that like I think like, but at the same time, I'm not personally. I feel like that like games that try to fix itself via an expansion, I'm not the biggest fan of.
Like you're like me. You feel like the game should have just been the best product.
Yeah, in itself.
At the beginning.
At the beginning,
not need to be fixed.
Yeah.
So okay, so that takes us on to why would you not get an expansion? So I mean, it's basically what we just said. So maybe you don't want, or the game doesn't need, or would be worse with one or two extra mechanics. I can think of Nippon being like that. Right?
Oh, Nippon Zaibatsu, right.
Yeah, like the new expansion that they're just like crowdfunded adds like another whole bunch of stuff to the game.
Right.
Which I don't know, which make it way too complicated and too even longer.
Yeah.
So it's not always the best thing to add more to a game.
Yeah, my wife and I played the Matcha expansion for White Castle a couple of times, and both times we just felt like it like White Castle in itself. The beauty of it was the tightness of it and the shortness of it.
9 turns.
Yeah, the 9 turns, like you're like the scarcity and like how much you can do in a short period of time. Whereas by adding that expansion, it kind of loosened that up too much and it kind of overstayed its welcome. There are too many choices all of a sudden. Like by adding that, like there's always going to be a thing you can do, and there's not that limitation, the tightness, which like made the game so brilliant in itself. So we found that it kind of broke the base game almost by adding an expansion.
Yeah, because that was the appeal of White Castle, right? You got 9 turns. Yeah. Do the best you can.
Yeah.
Now you got 12 turns. You got this other thing, which is more forgiving.
Yeah,
exactly. The game is longer.
Yeah.
And the whole joy of it is you could get a crunchy Euro experience in like an hour and a half because it was 9 turns, right?
But now it takes over 2 hours to play like 3-4 player games for.
Okay. Yeah. So some games you shouldn't add more to it. Now, one of the problems with expansions these days is crowdfunding. So to make the game and the deluxe package $200-$300 more enticing, the games all come out now right at the get-go with multiple expansions. And whether they are true expansions or they were maybe mechanics taken out in playtesting that are now given to you as an expansion, or who knows. That's definitely a big driver for expansions. It's the whole crowdfunding thing.
To be able to give you like a next thing to work towards, or like next thing to unlock, stretch goals.
Like, so I think my most recent example of that was probably Galactic Cruise. So if you got the big deluxe thing, maybe about 1/5 of the box. If you don't buy the deluxe, it's just filled with foam as placeholders in the trays for the expansions. And then the expansions just basically changed the components of the shuttle to 3 different sets. Didn't really change the game otherwise. And so Yeah, so but that's just like crowdfunding, right? If you want the big deluxe box, then you get all these extra expansions and stuff. I don't really think the game needs that, but it's definitely a driver for expansions is the whole crowdfunding thing.
Yeah, I find it's like nowadays as well, like with the cost of everything going up, expansions are also quite pricey. Sometimes it's about the same, like the same price as the base game, or other games. So like, I think the trade, like the thought exercise that I do before buying an expansion really is like, are there other games in the same price point that I would like just enjoy more by just having a new gaming experience, by trying something new rather than like am I invested in this game enough that like I would get a lot of enjoyment out of getting an expansion for the same game, same world.
Yeah. So like the Arcs, Leaders, and Lore expansion, which is basically just two small sets of cards to add that much asymmetry, and the combinations of the leaders and the lores together adds a lot of variety and replayability for just like the price of I think it was like $15 or something, like just a deck of cards, right? So that's an expansion you can get behind because it's like, well, I just won't have a coffee tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's like the cost of this expansion. Whereas it's hard to, I pay $40-$50 for an expansion, like it's like, but everything is getting more expensive too. So I think one big reason not to get expansion is more boxes. And I am super annoyed when the expansion doesn't fit in the original box.
Sometimes it doubles the size by getting like a whole nother box that is just the expansion itself.
Yeah, it's like super annoying. Like it's one thing, it's a little bit annoying to have an expansion. It does fit in your original box, but now you have an extra box that's empty. You don't want to throw it out because if you want to sell the expansion, then you need the box. So now I have an empty box that I have to find space for. So that's like a little bit annoying. But yeah, extra empty boxes is like, premium on space.
It's also like you can't really throw it out either. It's hard to, you're like, oh, like if you sell it, then you would need the box. So,
Well, like I'm glad I didn't throw out any of the original Wingspan expansion boxes, even though I got the nesting box, because I ended up selling them all off individually. Which I couldn't have done if I'd thrown them out. But yeah, I mean, you should think about space. If you're a guy who likes to buy expansions, you might find most of your space taken up by expansions. So that's definitely a thing. Yeah. Do you think, okay, so this is a philosophical question. Do you think games should have expansions? I mean, if you think of video games, as an example, not many video games don't have DLCs. The DLC would be like the video game version of an expansion. There may be sequels, which are like separate games, but I mean, there are some games with DLCs, but a lot of games are just standalone, no DLCs, and it is what it is. You play your 20 hours, 40 hours, whatever, and that experience is done. And so why is it that we feel like we need expansions for board games? Or do we not? Should people, instead of spending that $40 on expansion, go try another gaming experience?
I'm of the mindset that we honestly do not need expansions, unless it's a campaign type of game. Like unless it is a story-driven thing that like gives you another, like a next chapter of a book almost. Like just like how like comic books or like things that have stories like will keep on going. But like I think like as far as I'm aware, all of like Vital Lacerda's games don't come with expansion.
No, On Mars has an expansion that turns it into
like with the
co-op, I believe. Co-op. But yeah, most of his games don't. They're a standalone experience.
Standalone experience, just a great like video games as well. I find that like the ones that I like that are the most memorable and the most like I think like conclusive are the like don't really have any kind of expansion type of thing to them either. Um,
Yeah.
and it just like I think this like board game designers, I'm coming to realize more and more that like they're constantly kind of like on their next project as well when they're designing a game, with exception for like the Dominion people. That's
Well, I think
yeah.
you almost have to take card games out of it. If
Yeah.
you want to go to the other extreme, is
Mm.
look at like living card games
Yeah.
or Magic.
Yeah,
Or
Magic,
all those games,
Yu-Gi-Oh,
right?
yeah.
That Magic is basically been publishing expansions for like 40 years,
Yeah.
right? Like every set is basically expansion of the Magic universe, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not like they redesigned the game. It's not a
Yeah.
sequel. It's just Magic.
Yeah.
And so Dominion is just a game that we just add more cards.
Yeah.
And so I think card games might be the exception to the rule, although that is the danger part of these card games.
Yeah.
You just keep buying more and more expansions. But so how many expansions are there for Spirit Island? Like
three,
a lot.
3 or 4, like, but then they're each like big boxes. Like they're like each like another.
There are 4 expansions.
Yeah, 4 expansions. Yeah.
But if they brought out another 4, like would you buy 4 more expansions? Like,
So-
at the end
so
of the day, it
we-
could be a never ending.
It could be a never ending, but like my wife and I like have already like not actually played through all the expansions because we kind of moved on to some extent from Spirit Island. We play it every so often to kind of come back to it, but it's not our like constant on the table game anymore.
Yeah. And each expansion here, I'm just looking at
Yeah,
401 games, $70.
Yeah, and the base game is
$90, so it's almost the same price as the base
yeah,
game.
yeah, not too different.
And so if you bought 4 expansions and Spirit Island, you're paying like $600.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
For cardboards.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
So
It's
so,
Canadian,
yeah.
by the way. Canadian.
Yeah,
photos.
Canadian.
Yeah.
not US dollars. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure. I think I'm with you. I'm not sure if I think it's the industry that's pushed it. I don't know if it's industry or if people are clamoring for expansions. There's probably a certain proportion of players that are like, we want an expansion to this game because we love this game so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like if the game is a good experience in itself, then just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the crowdfunding thing is definitely driving expansions, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll finish off. Name for me a good expansion. I think we already know, and a bad expansion. Do you have any bad expansions?
Well, in my opinion, I think some folks say that matcha is decent.
Okay.
I don't think matcha is a good expansion. I think it just takes away from the game more so than it adds to the game, unfortunately.
Okay.
So that's one of my bad expansion examples. Good expansion, I think I will go back to Spirit Island. I think the Rugged Earth or one of those, like I think it expands the spirits. I think the base game has quite basic spirits, and then the expansions really like open up the spirit world quite a bit. So the expansions to me have been worthwhile to get and like to explore that world a little more.
Yeah.
So yeah, those would be
all right.
My two examples.
So my good expansions, I think Hegemony expansion that allows you to play it less than 4 players is good. Although the bots they're very complicated bots. Like you need a whole like tutorial on how to run the bots. But they definitely fill the gap, but they're still not like humans in terms of predictability. But it allows you to play an amazing game in a shorter space of time with less than 4 people. So that is good. The other good expansion, I do like the Leaders in Lore for Arcs as well as Marine World. So I think those are 2 good expansions. Is probably why I still have them. And then a bad expansion, and which is why I don't have it anymore, is like the SETI Space Agencies. Didn't do what it said, which was to fix the length of the game. The asymmetry was fine, but the game didn't really need that. It needed to fix the length, and the expansion didn't do that. And so, yeah, that game and the base game went out the window. So, yeah, that would be my bad expansions.
Yeah, no, it's it varies, right? Like it's there's no like I think it very much like can depend on the designer and the decisions that are made.
So I think we're pretty similar. Like if we are looking at an expansion to a game we have, really look hard at what this expansion's adding.
Yeah.
And what it might detract from the game before spending money on the expansion.
Yeah, honestly, I was personally surprised by not liking matcha as like much as I thought I really wanted to like it because I am a big fan of White Castle as a board game, and I love drinking matcha and like it being a Japanese theme and all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
it felt like it was gonna be something that would add to the game, but no, it took me a couple of plays to realize, oh, this is not doing it. Yeah,
I would go so far as to say I don't think I would ever crowdfund an expansion that's like a campaign that's just for the expansion. Obviously, if you do like a deluxe, you get expansions, but like I don't think I would crowdfund an expansion only. I would just try and get it and play it or retail it or something. Yeah. Okay, well, let us know in the comments, or you can email us at twoagentsoneboard@gmail.com what you think about expansions, what expansions you love, don't love. Are you somebody who likes expansions or generally avoids expansions? So this is an interesting topic, so let us know your thoughts. Thank you for watching and subscribing and following. We will hopefully be bringing more live streams, including more live stream games. Maybe we should play Old King's Crown on live stream. That would be fun.
That would be fun.
And thank you for following and listening on the podcast, and following us on Instagram. And yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, we are the two Asians on one board, Rio and Darren.
Oh yeah,
don't introduce ourselves.
We always forget to introduce ourselves, so that's who we are.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching.